Okay, thank you very much everyone for joining me. I'm going to present myself, of course. She already said that my name is Jens Fudge, and I'm going to talk about mental management. And I've chosen for this seminar to use the sport archery. Perhaps anyone of you know something about archery? Anyone? No? Oh, okay. Then it's going to be boring because that's the only sport I know about. We'll close the door in a minute so all the noise won't come in. And I hope you all are content with understanding the English that I'm speaking. I'm not putting anything on the screen on the monitor. I'm only using a whiteboard. And that's because I want this seminar to be more kind of a interactive seminar, so that the direction of the seminar is going to go with the flow of whatever you want. If I did a PowerPoint presentation, you would have to follow the PowerPoint, which is kind of boring if that's not what you want. So that's my take on it. That's my name, Jens Fudge, and I'm going to warn you that I learned to write when I was around 4 years old, and my writing has not evolved since. Sorry, that's the way it is. When I first started archery, that's quite a long time ago. That was in 1987. So I'm going to put a few years here just to give you a timeline of what and why I know something about what I'm talking about. So in 1987, I started archery. And if I put a curve here, skill, time, I like maths and I like science. If you can't see the whiteboard, maybe you should move over here or something, okay? So in 1987, that's the first time I have a bow in my hand. So my skill is here. So I was absolutely the worst archer in the world. There was no one worse than me, no one at all, because this is the first time I ever shot a bow. But I liked it. I liked shooting archery really a lot. So I spent a lot of time shooting archery, and I learned a lot about it. And I learned about the technique and whatever you had to learn about. At a tournament, a couple of years after I started, one of the other athletes that were there noticed that I walk funny, and I do. If you see, I walk a little bit funny. I've got really small feet. That's because I've born with club feet and I had 29 operations in my feet. So that makes me eligible to shoot Paralympic archery. So that's what I did. And I'll just remove that bit here. And in 1990, I was at the World Championships for disabled people. And that was in Assen in the Netherlands here, and that was great fun. And before I left for the competition, I had the feeling that I could actually be able to win this competition, because I thought I was good at this archery stuff. Yeah, it didn't work out that way. This was my first international competition, and I was really blown away by the magnitude of an international competition, really blown away. So my mind kind of messed everything up for me, and I had never ever thought of being have to have a mental strong mind to shoot a competition. It never occurred to me, but okay, it did occur to me here. So I did become number 7, which is actually not bad for a 3-year-old experience of shooting archery at a world championships. That's pretty good. So I was chuffed with the position that I was in, but I felt that I could have done better. So I went to back in 1990, there was no internet, so I couldn't Google what to do. So I had to ride my bicycle. We had these big buildings in Denmark called libraries, where you could there were books inside made of dead tree, and I was looking at this to learn more about this stuff. And I found one book to be particularly good, and was written by a Norwegian sports psychologist called Willy Reilo. And I'll put his name here. I really don't know if that book is in any other languages than Norwegian and Danish. But if it is, I would recommend to read it, and it's called Best Når det gælder in Danish, which is Best When It Counts. So kind of a good title for a book. So I read that book and I started practicing something with the mental stuff. I also saw some videotapes with this guy called Jay Bars, who was from the United States, who won the Olympic Games in 1988. He talked about something called visualization. Okay, what's visualization? And I found out what that was, and then I started using that quite a bit. And that helped really a lot. So if anyone here doesn't know what visualization is, look into it and try to see if that can help you. So in 1991, I went to the European Championships for Disabled. And here I was mentally prepared. I was physically prepared. I was emotionally prepared. Everything was prepared to the fullest that I absolutely could. And I was pretty confident that I had a good shot at getting a medal at this competition. Now, back in 1990 and 1991, we didn't have fancy stuff like finals and all that stuff. We just shot for the 91 games. It was indoors. We shot 60 arrows on 25 meters. 60 arrows on the day after on 18 meters, and that's it. And then we just added up the points, and whoever had the most had won the tournament. After they won, after 60 arrows, there was this German guy who was in the lead. He was 3 points ahead of me. And then I was obviously second. Well, not obviously, but I was. And after me, the third place was just around 10 points after me. So when we started on the Sunday, everyone was kind of focused on this German guy and I, thinking it's probably going to be one of us who wins this title. And then to mess with my mind, some of his coaches actually thought it would be a very good idea to stand behind me with their binoculars, just to put some more pressure on me. Not really nice, but I knew that might happen because I've seen it done before. But the thing is that I had been preparing mentally for all the situations that I could think of. So after each 3 arrows, after each end, I turned back, pointed to these German coaches and said, Dankeschön, das ist sehr gut, dass Sie mir supporten. Which means basically, thank you very much for supporting me and not your guy. And that boosted my confidence a lot. And it did not help their confidence very much. Actually, quite the opposite. So this competition, I came in first place, which was very nice. I enjoyed that. Then I was told that I was probably going to make the cut and be selected to go to the Paralympic Games in 1992. Now, if anyone doesn't know what Paralympic Games is, that's actually the real games. So they have every 4 years, they have this warm-up game called Olympic Games, which is really just to make sure that the fields and all that stuff is in order. And they have some of the pretty good archers go and test it out, and they have the judges go and test it out. And when they give the go, okay, right, let's now have the real games, the Paralympic Games, which I was attending. And I can't remember your name. Oh, you? Yeah. Kerstel has passed out these notes, and I'm going to give away one of the books that I wrote, if you can guess what my back number was. So put your guess on here. It's between 1 and 100. I can narrow it down. It's between 1 and 64. So just put your number there, and then we'll do something later. At the Paralympic Games, we shot a full feature, and a full feature is 36 arrows on 90, 70, 50 and 30 meters. And then after that, we did actually have finals, which was the first games, international games that I've been to that had finals. The finals were similar to the finals we have now, but instead of having a set system, we had more like the accumulative system, like the compound archers do now. And for the 32nd, 16th, and 18th, 8th finals and quarterfinals, it was 18 arrows. And whoever had the most points advanced to the next level. And then after that, we went to semifinals and finals, which was 12 arrows. And this, I also came as number 1. So that was great. And I'm telling you this because I have absolutely no clue what mental management is about, because I don't have any education in this stuff. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychotherapist. I do have an education, but that's computer programming. It's not quite the same as mind programming, but it's kind of similar. So everything I know is something that I have learnt by being on the field, by walking the mile, as they call it, apart from the fact I can't walk a mile because that'll be too painful for my feet. But that's where I have the knowledge from. And after my own career shooting archery, and in 1996 I was at the Paralympic Games in Atlanta, and I became number 5, and I thought, I'm going to pack it in. If I can't even win the bloody Paralympic Games, who wants to compete? Nah, it's just fun, of course. That's when I started having a family and work and all that stuff. So that's where I have the knowledge from, is from shooting myself, knowing what it's like to stand on the shooting line, knowing what it's like to stand on the shooting line in the final round and in the qualification round. And then I've helped a ton of archers since then. So even though I haven't shot any competitions in 30 odd years, I still know something about archery. I still know what it's like to be on the shooting line. I still know about having an elevated heart rate when you're in a finals round. I still know about you do get nerves and all that stuff. Right, how many in here think that I have a system that's going to work for you so that you can take home and then everything's going to be dandy? A couple? Right. I'm sorry, it's not. The work stuff is done by yourself. I am going to give you a lot of tips and tricks and my knowledge, but if you want to have it to, if you want it to help your archery, you have to work on it yourself. One of the things that I can say here in this connection is that some years ago, a Norwegian guy posted on Facebook. I follow Facebook. I'm an old man, so I'm not on Instagram and all that stuff. So I'm on Facebook, the old guy stuff. And this Norwegian bloke, he posted on there, I'm a barebow shooter, and I always F myself up at the last 6 arrows. So it was indoors, and he said, I want to go past the 500 points with my barebow. But I always end up shooting 598, 597, 599, 400 and all that. But I can't hit the 500. How come? Why do I mess myself up? And he said it's so severe that even before the last 3 arrows, before the last end, I maybe even need only 5 points. So I'll go through to 3 and 2 misses. Does anyone know something? Anyone experience something similar? Now you have this, and I just can't get past it. So I gave him some hints on Messenger. So I just told him, oh, do this and do that and try this and give that a go and all that stuff. And then he came back 2 weeks later and he said, I shot 520 at a competition. 520. And then 3 or 4 weeks after that, I got another message from him. I shot 540. So he went in a month from just under 500 to 540 just by changing his mindset. Right? So changing the mindset from what to what. He was so focused on points that was all he had in his head. And I explained to him that you should focus only on stuff that you're actually in control of. Okay, I'm going to have a provocative question here. How many in here are in control of where they hit with their arrows? Oh, no one. That's good. That's only because I said that. Often a lot of people say, yes, I'm in control of where I hit, but you're not. As soon as you've let the arrow go, you're not in control anymore. And it's at least, for an indoor shoot like this, it's at least 400 milliseconds before it actually hits the target. In that 400 milliseconds, it's not in your control. You do have control on how to shoot the shot, but you're not in control of where the arrow hits. I have a target face here, and what I like to say is, I've got these small magnets, but they're almost impossible to pick off again. What I like to say is that if you instead, let me ask you a question. How many actually aims for the 10? How many tries to hit the 10 every arrow? A lot. How many actually succeeds in hitting the 10 every arrow? So my point is, you're trying to do something that you can't do. What about if you switch focus on doing something that you can do? Do that instead. I've got my bow here. This is it's very non-dangerous. It doesn't come pellets out of it or anything. So if I'm at training, I could do a shot like this. It's a fairly good shot. If I'm at a competition, maybe I would go like this instead. Okay, now I have to hit the 10, so I'm going to really focus on the 10 ring. Yeah. Oh, no, it's a 7. Anyone recognize that kind of shot? Yeah. And it's because you're trying to do something that you can't do. You can hit the 10, that's not the point. But you can't consistently hit the 10. Well, some people can, I know. Mike Schlosser can, and Matthias Fullerton can. But for the average archer, hitting the 10 every single time is really, really, really hard. So I changed my mindset until just hitting my own group. Now my own group is something like that, or some people like that, or like that. And I find it much easier to hit the target within my own group, if that's the goal, just to hit my own group, okay? So that makes it easier for me to focus on shooting the shot, executing the shot correctly. I'm not perfect, I'm not a robot, but shooting a shot more or less correctly will allow my arrows to go within my own group. I can visualize it like this. See? If you hit inside this funnel here, it's going to go in the 10. Yeah? If you turn it around, it's much harder. So that's the focus that I use. I use a funnel, an imagery funnel on top of the target when I shoot, or when I shot, it's 30 years ago. And as long as I can get it in where I normally get it, that's fine. I don't need any more. It then turns out that by doing that, I can apply some more science to my shooting. Because it turns out that it follows normal rules of statistics. Anyone know statistics from school? Yeah. So you have a standard deviation and you have a normal distribution. The normal distribution curve is like this. So it goes up like that, like that. I'm not sure if everyone can see it, but I hope. So if you plot how many within my own group, so that could be from 8 and inwards, how many of my arrows hit if I shoot a perfectly normal good shot. Not a perfect shot, but just a normal good shot. It turns out that most of my arrows actually hit in the middle by shooting a good shot. Some arrows, a few of them, go in the 7, and even fewer go in the 6. A couple even might hit the black, and very, very seldom I'd miss the target. But it will happen. It's mathematically proven by statistics, it will happen. Now, I know this is a flat curve, so if this is the left side of a target, and this is the right side of the target, we still need the top and bottom. So if we kind of wrap this around this cone here, that's what I mean, right? I hope you get the idea. Otherwise, I do have a picture that I got ChatGPT to create for me. And this is the normal distribution curve of an archer. If you shoot just good shots, not trying to achieve perfection for each and every single shot, but just a good shot that is good for your level, then your arrows will hit like this. Most of them will be in the middle, and then you'll have a few strays. How many would disagree that it's the bad shots that takes your total points down? It's the shots where you actually go like this and you try to hit the 10 so bad that you make that shot. And that's the ones that hurt you. The shots that you pick up and go, oh, that was a little bit too fast, but it's still a good shot. They don't hurt you. They just put one arrow, 1 point down in total. That's not a problem. So don't try too hard. And if you are focusing your energy on hitting the spider here, you're not putting your energy into shooting the shot, because you're putting your energy away from, distance-wise, 18 meters away, which is not a very good idea, but it's also in the future. It takes a half second or something before the arrow goes there, and you can't control what's going to happen in the future. You can control how you're going to shoot your shot. That part is up to you. Okay. Right. Did everyone put down a number on the paper? Has anyone has number 42? Anyone 1 point off?
Yeah, 1 point off.
1 point off?
Yes.
And you?
43.
43. Anyone else with 43? Or 41? All right.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. I could have started this by saying I had the ultimate number, because everyone knows that 42 is the ultimate number, right? So, but that would mean 100 books. Okay, who doesn't know that 42 is the ultimate number? When you get to a computer, Google what is the ultimate number, and you'll get 42. It's the answer for everything, the life and universe. Okay. Does anyone have any questions so far on what I've been through? And otherwise, I'm going to look at my notes to see what's the next most important bit. I actually know what that is, because did I mention I like maths and science and stuff? Yeah. Yes. Okay, that's because it's true. And someone always said, you have to trust science. Actually, you don't have to trust science, because the only way science evolves is if you don't trust it and you have to try and prove it again. You try and prove science wrong, that's where you learn more. I did start with this curve here. Right, that's me, world's worst archer, day one in archery. And it turns out that the most archers' career, they follow the same pattern as bacteria's growth in a petri dish. That's true. You can disprove it if you want to. But you start off here and slowly, as time goes by, slowly you pick up, and then all of a sudden you get the hang of it. And then you go in a plateau. That's the curve for a titration curve with acids and bases, and it's also the curve for petri dishes with bacteria, and it's also the curve for the growth of an archer. Has anyone not experienced this? Is this more or less how you all have experienced? Yeah?
The plateau even goes down.
It could even go down, that's true. Could be like that. Is this more or less what everyone experiences?
It's up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yes. If I zoom in on this, oh, it's not zooming. It goes like that. It goes like that. That's very true, very true. Okay. Does anyone else not experience this or something similar? Okay, this is the problem. This takes maybe, depends on how much you put into it, but This could be anything from 3 months to a couple of years. And then this bit happens, which is really fast, a couple of months for most, maybe 6 months. How many in here have had this bit for more than 10 years? Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. You have this bit for way too long, and it's because you think, well, most of you have maybe had it for some years. At least most of you have probably had it at least very much longer than this bit, but it doesn't have to be. And it's because you think, if I just go to the club 3 times a week, shoot 150 arrows, I'm going to be better. Does anyone have that notion? Not anymore? Good. You have to actually plan what it is you want to do. And you can micro-plan if you want. When I went to the Paralympic Games in 1992, I knew exactly which date the finals were going to be. So I planned my training to peak that date. You can plan to peak on a specific date if you want to. It does require you to have something like similar to this. This is a Danish version of a training journal, and it's downloadable for free on my website if you want it. It's called a training journal in English, and it's a lot of pages where you take notes of your shooting, your goals, your wisdom words, and whatever you have. And if you start plotting down what you have somewhere, you can use a notepad on your phone if you want, or a piece of paper, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But as long as you plot down what you're doing, then you can use last year's results to actually figure out where you're going. What happens if I do this and this? What happens if I do that and that? So that's again disproving the science or proving the science. I figured out during my career that if I shoot a lot of arrows, and I did shoot a lot of arrows, I shot like 300 arrows a day for almost a year and a half before the Paralympic Games. 300 hours, not per week, but per day. And I shot a tournament every single weekend. If there was not a tournament in Denmark, I would go to Norway, Sweden, or Germany and shoot a tournament there, because I wanted to have the experience. And I figured out that around 2 weeks before I wanted to peak, I should go down from 300 hours to maybe 200 arrows, and then a couple of days later 150 arrows, a couple of days later 50 arrows, so that when I got to the point where I wanted to peak, I was really, really, really hungry for shooting. Really hungry. Like, I want to shoot now. Give me a bow, give me a field, I don't care, just let me shoot. And that's how I plan to peak on a specific date. And you can all do that. For most people it is around 2 weeks before, but not for all. Some people experience something else, but that's where your training journal comes in hand. That's where you plan your training, you plot it, and you use your history. This is a history book. As long as you've written in it, then it's your history book. And then you use that to become better on and peak on the exact date that you want, or maybe even a week, give or take. But that's how I did. Okay. All right, we have got 12-14 minutes left, so I can see what should be the next really, really good bit. Otherwise, if you have any good questions, I can be happy to answer those. Okay, I'm going to tell you that, yes?
I also have trouble.
Sorry?
Can I talk to you at the end of this?
Oh, absolutely.
I also have trouble.
Yeah, sure, no problem. One thing that I will also tell you about is I have also studied biochemistry at the university. I like science. Did I mention that? I really like science. And I learned a lot about the nervous system and stuff. Has anyone here heard the notion muscle memory? Okay, it doesn't exist. Sorry. But nerves have memory. The nervous system has a memory. And what happens is you send a signal from your brain, it goes down through your spine and then out to your muscles. And if you send the same signal again, your body is going to start recognizing that signal. And if you kind of visualize, it's a wire, copper wire that you have from your brain going out to your muscles. And the more you use one single copper wire instead of the millions there are, the thicker that one is going to be. And what happens is we have some myelin sheaths around each nerves. That's what people with MS lack the ability of, is to maintain those. And these myelin sheaths, they go thicker and thicker physically, which means that your brain has now a pathway from the brain through the nervous system, through your spines and out to the muscles that you want to trigger. That's why when you shoot, how many hours per week do you shoot? 300 something? Less? Okay. Who shoots around 300 hours? All right. When you shoot 300 hours a week, what you're doing is you're teaching your body to, this is the signal to shoot. And you shoot. So you're teaching your body how to shoot an arrow. And it gets better and better at doing it. And you're going to start making those myelin sheaths on your nervous system more and more optimized so that they actually will work. And the speed of the signals in the body is really fast, right? Has anyone almost tripped over and you can feel it in your body all over? That's the adrenaline that goes through your body. That is how fast your signals travel in your body. Now imagine this is my normal shot. That's a normal shot. So I'm using my pathway that my nervous system has created for me to shoot the shot. I'm simplifying it. It's not one nerve, it's a dozen, it's more, it's thousands. I'm just simplifying it. Well, what happens if I do this? It's a different signal. So I'm sending a different signal to my muscles. So it's not going to choose my preferred wire. It's going to choose something else. And that something else doesn't know about the 300 hours per week. Nothing. Oh, what's he doing? I've never done this before. Has any of you ever been at a competition and then suddenly you make a mistake that you haven't made in 6 months? You had this mistake 6 months ago, you fixed it, and then all of a sudden it's there again. That's because, okay, he's not using this wire. This one? Yeah, we'll use this one here. That's the one with the mistake. So that's what happens. So that's why when you go out shooting for a competition, you have to be confident that you're going to shoot normally in the way that you would normally shoot an arrow. So up, pull back, and shoot. Adrenaline, that's one of the hormones that we have in our body. I just need a small swig of water. Adrenaline is our friend. The hormone is designed for fight or flight, and it's one of our old survival mechanisms from when we were living in the Stone Age. Oh my God, there's a lion, I have to run away, something. So that's what the adrenaline does. And you can feel the adrenaline. That's also what you feel when you almost trip over. And that's also what you feel when you're nervous on the competition. That's the adrenaline. Now, if you know for a fact that the purpose of adrenaline is to change the way your muscles and your skin feels. So how many have had this situation? You're at a competition, you pick up, something's off. I can't put my finger on what exactly is off, but something is off. Anyone tried that? Okay, it's the adrenaline. Of course it feels different. You've got adrenaline in your body, so of course it's going to feel different. It has to. Your body is sending signals to your muscles. This is a tense situation, so it's going to feel differently. So what you have to do there is to trust that thick wire. I've created that thick wire for a reason, and that is, I don't care if this feels wrong, it's still right. I know it is. And you should do a good shot, and that is what happens if you do a good shot. If you've watched the Olympic Games on the telly, on some of the finals rounds, they put the archer's heart rate on the screen. And I saw from the 2024 Olympic Games, Kim Woo-jin, a Korean guy that shoots some archery, fairly good, hits the target sometimes, fairly good. His heart rate was 150. And we're talking a sport where he stands still. And that was his heart rate, 150. So even the best of the best are nervous. So if some of you think I'm the only one in the world getting nervous at an archery tournament, no, you're not. No, you're not. Everyone gets nervous. But the thing is that Kim Woo-jin, he knows that he's going to be nervous, and he knows how to tackle it. And he knows, I've never talked to him, so I'm guessing. When I was shooting and I felt nervous, I think, oh, this is great. Now I'm nervous now. This is a good feeling, because what does it mean? Well, it means that I'm still in the finals. If I was not nervous at a final, it's because I'm not shooting. Everyone in the finals is nervous, more or less. Some more than others, but everyone is nervous. And I would almost say that if someone is not nervous tomorrow at the finals, it's everyone just looking at the finals. The archers there are nervous. So whenever you feel nervous, it's just proof that you're in the right spot at the right moment. You're still in the game. You're still there. So that's always a good sign to be nervous. So if you want to, you can, instead of trying to say, well, I don't like being nervous, I want to push it away, I want to switch it off, you can accept it as being there. That's one thing, but you can also embrace it and say, oh, thank you for coming back, nervousness. I'm so grateful you're here. That means that I'm actually in the right place now, at the right moment. And that, if you have that feeling, because it doesn't really hurt your shooting. Has anyone had a major dip in your shooting just because being nervous? Not really. Sometimes you dip a little bit, but it's not really a lot. So just accept it and embrace it, and then I can't guarantee it because I'm not a psychologist, but I would think that most of you will experience that, okay, fine, I'm nervous, but I can still shoot. Actually, there's no proof whatsoever in science that nervous people are worse athletes than non-nervous people. It doesn't exist. There's even no proof that you need to have confidence. It's nice to have confidence, but a non-confident football player can still play perfectly good football. It doesn't have to be a confident player. He just has to play. 4 minutes. Okay. Has anyone heard the expression, if someone tells you enough times you're stupid, you're gonna believe it? All right. This is where these come in. I've got this small card. People think it's a business card, but this is actually just the back. This is the front. Just a blank card. You put... Can you take a couple and pass them around? Just take 2 or 3 each and then pass them on. You put your whatever you want to accomplish, you put on there. And another writer who wrote a really good book is called Lanny Basham. Lanny Basham, he wrote a book called With Winning in Mind. And one of the things that I read in his book, and he shoots with something with gunpowder and stuff, so noisy shooting instead of us stealth ninjas. He shoots a rifle, and shooting a rifle is sometimes 300 meters. And he's, as far as I remember, he's from Arizona, where it doesn't snow very much. But he was at a competition, I'm guessing the World Championships in Finland, and then all of a sudden it started to snow. And well, he knows, of course, what snow is, but he's never shot a competition in snow before. And he said it snowed so much that he couldn't see the target, but everyone else was still shooting. And he was, why are you shooting? But he had also prepared mentally for a lot of things. He didn't know how about to shoot in the snow, but what he just said to himself during the competition was, oh, it's so lucky that I am an awesome shooter in the snow. So that's what you use with those cards that I've just handed out. You put down something there that you want to be good at, but you don't put, I want to be good at shooting in finals. You put, I'm awesome in shooting in finals. So it's a present tense. It's not a wish. It's what you are good at. Put that there. And you remember, if enough people, if you're told enough times that you're stupid, you believe it. The same goes for if someone tells you enough times, you're really good at shooting archery, you're going to believe it. And that someone else could just be yourself, putting it on a card. Stick that card on your fridge or on the mirror in the bathroom, and every time you brush your teeth, oh yeah, I'm good at shooting archery. I'm really good at shooting finals in archery. And you're going to start believing it, and it's going to give you a positive affirmation. All right, before we finish, there's also this situation that most archers also know. You're at a competition, right? You go, oh, bloody hell, come on, why did I do that? Does anyone know that? Okay, has anyone here got a coach that tells you off if you shoot a bad shot? You have? Oh, you should fire those coaches.
I said forget it and move on is what they say.
Yes, that's good. But Oliver in the back, he has a coach who tells him off. Wow. Does he tell you off? Okay. I hope it's for fun, because it's demotivating to hear you get told off by your coach for shooting a bad shot. It's better to say, okay, pick that up. You can do better. Pick that up. You can. How many in here has a teammate that tells you off? You have, I know. Anas, yes. And the thing is, if it's demotivating to get told off for shooting a bad shot, it's going to be really demotivating to tell yourself off. So if you shoot that bad shot, oh, okay, that could have been better. I can do better. I'm going to do better. That was a not good shot. I didn't focus on my shot. I didn't focus on my execution. Of course, learn by it. I'm not saying just throw it away, but I did a mistake. Okay, what was that mistake? Chances are 9 times out of 10, my mistake was that I did not focus on my shooting the shot, but I focused on the target instead. Right, 45 minutes are up, so any questions? Nothing? All right. I did bring some of these books here, and I wrote this book, and there's a website for it called https://choosetobeawinner.com, and on there's a bunch of stuff, and it's not required to buy the book to go on the website or anything. There's a lot of audio files if you need help and guidance in doing some visualization. There's also a PDF version of the training journal in English and in Danish. And the book is also in English and in Danish. And well, the PDF from the book is not there, of course, because that's what I kind of try to earn a little bit of money on. The book is available on Amazon for around 35 euros. But if you want to buy it from me while we're here, 25 euros. So, sure.
Yes.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed this. And I'm going to be here all the weekend. So if you have some follow-up questions, just come along and we'll have a talk.